Good day. In this video I'll be showing you how you can work with GitHub and c9.io. So first is the account of the group leader. So the group leader has to go to github.com and then create a new repository. So here you can see a new repository button, so just click that and then say the title of your project, so project title, and then an optional description. So you don't need to touch this part, so it should be public. And so just click on the create repository button after you add the repository name and the description. So create repository, and now make sure that the SSH button is clicked. So the SSH link should look like that. The HTTPS is different, so what we need is the SSH. So copy this, and then the group leader will now go to his c9.io account. So make sure that nothing else is in the workspaces. If there's anything in here, you have to delete it. So to delete, just click on so this is actually a demo project, so it's the default one. So if it's just a demo project, you don't have to delete anything. So now we need to click this create new workspace, then enter the project title and the desk. So you don't need to touch this part. Then now before you add the SSH URL in here, you have to first choose a template. So we need PHP, then we paste the SSH URL from GitHub. So now we need to create the workspace. Okay, so now the workspace has been created. So it's saying fatal, cannot update paths from switch to branch master at the same time. So never mind this one. So it's the way c9.io works, so ignore this. Now what we need to do is to download Laravel. So go to laravel.com, then click on the documentation link, scroll down until you find this. So composer create project, copy this command and then paste it in the bash. So Control V, then enter. So when you do this, make sure that you are in the workspace. So this is the root directory of the workspace. So this should take a while, so I'll just pause the video. Okay, so now after 10 years it has finally been installed. So you should get the following message if the Laravel installation is successful. Okay, so if you didn't get this, then you need to watch this video. So troubleshooting composer token error. So if you get something like a token error, so it's saying here GitHub API token error, something like that, so you should watch this video if you get that error. But if you did not, so if you get this kind of message, so you can go on with watching this video. So after you watch this, if you got an error, you just go back to this video so that you can watch what we need to do. So next, now Laravel has been installed, so this is the root directory of the project and this is the Laravel installation folder. So by default, if you access the project after Laravel is installed, so copy that, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So this is what you get, because Laravel is inside the Laravel folder. So you need to type in Laravel, and then the public files are in this public directory, so you have to type in /public and then the index.php, which serves the pages, so index. So that is the URL for accessing Laravel. So in your c9.io, you have to copy your built-in web server URL. So click on this first, so it should say run project if it's not running yet, and then you paste it here and then add this. So this is now the Laravel homepage, but what we need to do is to remove this, and then we should still be able to get the same output, so that the URL is shorter. So now go back here, and we have to place everything inside the Laravel folder in the root directory. So to do that, just click on the first folder, and then on your keyboard press shift and then select the last folder, so this vendor. Okay, and then right click, copy, cut, so cut, and then select this and then paste. So now everything is moved out of the Laravel directory, so you need to move this out as well. So these files are still inside the Laravel, because when you do that, it disappears. So you have to click on this and then click shift and then select the last file, then cut, then here paste. Okay, so now you go to the bash and then check if there is any files that are left. So lsl and then Laravel. So if it says total 0, all the files has been moved. So next, what you need to do is checking if the public directory contains anything. So this public directory should not contain anything, so it should say 0. Now we need to open the index.php file, so double click and then remove these lines. So the dot and then like that. Same with the app, so remove those as well. So it should only say slash and then bootstrap, and this one as well, slash bootstrap. Save. And now if we check, we should now be able to remove this, and we should get the same output. Okay, so now something went wrong. Now we need to enable the debugging as well, so we need to create an env file. So to create that, you first need to check if there's already an existing one, so nano.env. So there's nothing else, so we should type in here app debug and then set it to true. Control X and then Y, enter. So now we should be able to see the error. So it's saying that no supported encryptor found. This means that the app has no key yet, so you have to generate a new one. To do that, go to the bash and then type in php artisan key generate. So now this key has been generated. To check, we need to open the env file again, so nano.env. Okay, so it hasn't been set here, so we have to manually set. So copy this, Control C, and then nano.env. Then after app debug, set app key equal to the generated key. So exit, Control X, Y, enter. Next we should check okay, so the problem has been resolved since we are already getting the home page. So now the reader can commit this. So git status, check for the files that hasn't been committed yet. So these are the files, and we need to create a git ignore file so that our configuration this is the configuration file, so we don't need to commit that to git. And then the same is true with the vendor, since this is where the dependencies are installed. If you remember, the dependencies are installed using Composer. So if you open the composer.json file, you can see all the dependencies. So nano composer.json, so here are all the dependencies. So these are all installed using Composer, so you don't need to include the vendor directory. So to do that, using nano, nano.gitignore. This is where we should put the files to be excluded for committing to Git. So .env and then the vendor directory. So vendor. Next, we also need to exclude this storage. Because these are where the logs are stored. So to do that, say storage. Then exit, Control X, Y, and then enter. So if we check once again, those files are no longer listed in here because they're already excluded. So Laravel directory and public directory, we can now delete this. So rm Laravel rmr public. So now we can use the add command, git add, and then period, enter. We type in git status. It should now be prepared for committing. So now we can commit git commit -m space and then the initial commit message. So initialize project, then enter. So now we're ready to push to our GitHub. So git push -u origin master. So if you see that, type in yes and then enter. Okay, so if we refresh now, we should be able to see the files that we have committed. Okay, so that's the commit message. Now we need to go to the member account. So the member should now clone this. So to view the clone URL, you can go to the here. So SSH should be selected and then just give this URL to your member. Okay, so now we need to switch browsers. So here in the c9.io, so this is the c9.io account of the group member. So this was the leader. And then group member. So again, make sure that only the demo project is in here. Then click on the create new workspace. So the project name, short desk, then don't need to touch, select the template PHP, and then paste in the URL that you got from your group leader. So now create workspace. Should now list all the files that has been committed by the group leader. So now we need to create the storage directory. So that's in. Let's go back to the leader so that we can check. So it's inside, directly inside the root folder. So go back here in the group member account, and then click on the root directory, right click, and then new folder, then type in storage, so inside that we need to create the app folder and then framework. So right click on the storage, new folder, then app, then click on the storage again, right click, and then new folder, framework, and then inside the framework we have cache, sessions, and views. So storage, framework, right click, new folder, cache, right click, new folder, sessions, and then lastly views. And we need the logs directory as well, so it's inside the storage. So storage and then new folder, logs. Next we have to generate the env file again. So nano.env, let's just generate the key first. So php artisan key :generate. Okay, so there's no vendor yet, so we need to install the dependencies because the php artisan command uses Laravel, and Laravel hasn't been installed yet in here. So if you remember, Laravel is a dependency, so it's inside the vendor directory. So if you remember, we didn't commit the vendor directory to the repository, so we should install it again. So to do that, go to the member and then type in composer install, and then enter. So now I'm getting the token error. So if any of the members get this kind of error, you should watch the troubleshooting composer token error video. So I'll just resolve this now. So to do that, we need to go to the GitHub, and so to resolve this error we need to generate a token. So go to this URL, github.com/settings/tokens, then click this, then type in your password. So now we should say C9IO token, then click everything, then click on the generate token button. so description has been taken, so just say token2. So this is now the generated token, so copy this using this button, copy, and then go back to your c9.io and paste in the token using Ctrl V. So it's hidden, but it's there, so just press enter. Now it should install the dependencies. So now it's done installing. So since we got that error, we should set the default token so that every time we need to install new dependencies, we don't need to copy this token. So if you refresh this page, it should already disappear. So we should already set the token as the default. So to do that, go to the Composer troubleshooting page and then use this command and then replace the token that you got. So let's copy this now and paste it in the c9.io and then remove the token and copy this, paste, and then enter. So now it shouldn't ask for the token every time we need to install. So now we can generate the key. So php artisan key colon generate. So this is now the key. Copy this. So highlight and then Ctrl C and then open the environment file and then set the up key to that and up debug to true. Ctrl X, Y, and then enter. So now we should now be able to run the project. So click on this and then copy the URL okay. So now the member has the same output as the group leader. And now the group leader can also make changes. So for example, the group member has added a new page, so he has to go to app, http, and then routes. So let's create a new page, route get, then new page. This is a new page created by the member. So save that and let's check. New page. So we got the expected output. So now the member can now commit this. So git status and git detects that the routes PHP file has been modified. So now we can add that. Git add and then up http routes.php and then commit. So -m and then inside the double quotes we should say what the change was all about. So what we did was to add a new page. So add a new page. So enter. Now the member can push but since the group leader hasn't added the member yet, so let's check first. So go to the group leader GitHub account and click on the settings, and then under the collaborators, so there's no collaborators yet, so that the group member can push directly to the repository. The leader has to add the member as a collaborator. So just need to search by username. So the username is in here, so the group leader can add that. So copy, then paste. So click on that, then add collaborator. So now the member is now a collaborator of the project. So go back to the members c9.io account, and you should now be able to push. So git push -u origin master, enter. Okay, so it's asking yes or no, so yes. So if you get this message, the change has been committed. So the group leader can now check, and sure enough we get the commit, add a new page. So let's check. So there's 2 commits now. So we get the username, so this was the one committed by the leader, and this is the member. So now the leader doesn't have the change yet. So to check, you can check app http and then routes. So it's not in his c9.io yet. So to pull those changes in, the leader has to type in git pull. So yes. Okay, so as you can see, here was the change by the group member, and the number of files changed. So it's saying 4 insertions because this empty space here is included. So 1, and then new line again, 2, new line 3, and then new line 4. So now we can see the change of the group member, and if we access it from here, new page, okay, so need to meet this Laravel, new page, and there's the change by the group member in the c9.io of the group leader. So this is the group leader. As you can see, there's the name and the group member. So it's a different URL, but they both have now the same change. So that's the Git workflow. So every time you need to make a change, you just git add and then git commit and then push, and then to pull in the changes from others, you just type in git pull. So that's it.